you know. If you did not lie, their life would be ruined, their honor would be lost. Is it evil to tell the lie to protect that person? Think it over. The highest good will be done by preserving the honor of that person and allowing him to change his life if he has done wrong and go to God. And so good and evil exist in relativity. I'll take another illustration of killing people. That's evil, of course, to kill. But suppose one man is running amok, and if we do not do away with him, then the only way left is to kill him. By doing so, 10 people say will be saved. Is that evil? So we must realize this duality of consciousness and understand that in that good and evil exist, but only in a relative way. The only place that good exists absolutely is in the unity of God's consciousness. And in that, evil does not exist. But in the duality phase, this worldly consciousness, then evil does exist. Now, I have a reference from Master's autobiography to substantiate this. The good and evil of Maya must ever alternate in supremacy. If joy were ceaseless here on the earth, in this world, would man ever desire another? Without suffering, he scarcely cares to recall that he has forsaken his eternal home. Pain is a prod to remembrance. The way of escape is through wisdom. Pain exists in outward consciousness. You can prove it. If you can meditate deeply enough and lift your consciousness to the unity of God's presence, there will be no pain. Therefore, through wisdom, you can prove pain does not exist in the unity of God's consciousness. In outward consciousness, it surely exists. And so, as I have said, in the absolute sense, good is in the unity of God's consciousness. It is permanent, eternal. There is no separation in the unity of God's consciousness. So you can see the key to the whole subject is the separateness from God. And that's the delusion he has cast over us. In the unity of God's consciousness, he has caused that spell which makes us feel apart from him, so that the play could go on. There are other illustrations which I haven't time to give tonight of how the delusion works. But realize that it is the spell cast over of separateness from God which produces the whole trouble. Now, in the unity of his consciousness, there is no separateness. There is permanency. But in the duality of consciousness, there is no permanency. And there is separateness from God. Remember those things. As you meditate and supersede this worldly consciousness, in the unity of God's presence, there's no separateness from him. As soon as you come down to separateness, instability, lack of fulfillment, nothing which we want because it is not permanent. These are important things to remember. So, all true fulfillment lies in the unity of God's consciousness. But the intelligent cosmic force of delusion or evil, and this is the worst thing, this intelligent force of Satan or evil has the power to make us feel that fulfillment is in outward consciousness. That's how evil comes in. It has the power to make us feel in outward consciousness, in the attaining of things, in possessions, in all sorts of things, you will find fulfillment and joy. Well, we all know that's not so, because it all passes away. But that's the delusion, that this evil force makes us feel that we do not have to wait until we can attain God consciousness for fulfillment. We can have it in outward things. And that's how the devil works. Now, that is why temptation through desire is such a powerful instrument. Because the temptation makes us want to find fulfillment in worldly living and things of this world. And it doesn't work that way. And therefore temptation and evil are definite forces and powers of this satanic force. Now Jesus knew that the force of evil existed. Jesus knew that because he said, Father, lead us not into temptation. Deliver us from evil. So do not let anybody tell you that evil doesn't exist. It exists as long as you're in this outward consciousness. If you can supersede it, there is no evil. Let us realize that. Jesus knew this power of Satan, as I have said, and he also said, get thee behind me, Satan. It's a definite power, a definite force. Let us realize that. One other thing, God's way was this, in this world existence. God's way was this. He wanted us to enjoy this cosmic dream without being attached to it. He wanted us to know that we had a divine nature and enjoy the dream. But what have we done? We followed the things of the dream and lost that contact with God. We've forgotten what we really were. And Satan says, oh, you don't have to wait. Enjoy these things now. Everything will be fine. Well, we found it isn't fine. It is not so. And so, following God's way is the way. Following Satan's way will not give us fulfillment. One reference comes to me in Ezekiel, 28th chapter, showing that we are divine, but we've lost that nature. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou wert perfect in all thy ways until delusion entered into thee, or iniquity. Thou didst walk up and down amidst the stones of fire. Those are the chakras of the spine. We had that consciousness until iniquity came into us. And because of that, because we